Greetings, St. Mary's Springs Academy. This is Mr. K bringing to you session 3 of standards-based grading. So far in our journey, we experienced session 1, where we looked at our what and why of standards-based grading. Session 2, we explored how standards-based grading influences students, teachers, and parents, and we also unpacked the timeline for standards-based grading that we have here at St. Mary's Springs Academy. Today, we're going to have a little fun and watch a video, and then after that, we're going to play a little bit of a game to see if who you'd pick to pack your parachute and which intern you'd pick to operate. The last thing we're going to do is look at our grading scale and more closely and unpack that for you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to take a little bit of time off here and then give you a video to watch for the next little bit of time, and then I'll see you at the conclusion of the video. Enjoy. Get your popcorn ready.
Standards-based grading is an innovation.
Welcome back. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that helped you unpack a little bit more of what we uncovered in the last session. Feel free to go back and re-watch it a time or two as you get to explore and really dive into standards-based grading. There is really a lot in the video, so it might take a time or two to really fully understand that. Going forward, let's look at packing parachutes. Which employee do you want packing your parachute? In this slide, we have employees 1 through 5. We have employee 1, 92%. What was their final outcome? Employee 2 had an 89% of their outcome. Employee 3, 75%. Employee 4, 81%. Employee 5, 90% was their final outcome. So take a moment and choose which employee would you pick to pack your parachute if you were to jump out of a plane. If I had to guess, my guess is a lot of you chose employee 1. Let's take a little bit deeper dive into their journeys of learning. If we look at the data, employee 1 had a lot of 90s across the board and a couple 95s there. Still 5% chance that you never know what could happen. Employee 2, you had a lot of 90s across their board. You have a 50 there in the middle. Not quite sure what happened on that day. But again, at the very end there, it averaged out to 11% chance that you'll be okay. Employee 3, we have a 20, a 50, a 90, 90, and 100 and 100. You can see how employee 3 really grew in their journey to meet the benchmark or the standard of how to pack a parachute. Employee 4 had struggled there at the beginning with some 70s and had some 80s and grew to a 92. And employee 5 had 90s right across the board. Very consistent student, ended up with that 90%. So if I were to ask you again, which employee would you choose to pack your parachute? Where would you land? Yeah, I think I would land with employee 3 because the last 2 times they hit it 100%. They got it right. They knew what they were doing. That's where my choice would be. Let's take this one more direction. Let's go from parachutes to the hospital. Which intern do you want operating on your child? We have interns 1 through 5 on the left. We have their percentage outcome there on the right. 88% for student 1, 62% for student 2, student 3, 50%, student 4, 81%, and student 5, 75%. Take a moment and think, which intern are you going to choose to operate on your child? Taking a look a little further on this data, we have student 1. They have some 90s, 100, and then some 80s in there, ended up with 88%. Student 2, you see where they landed. Student 3, as you look at that. But I'm going to zoom out and have us focus on student 5. Why? You see the same path of growing throughout that lesson. You see the same path of ending with 100% accuracy at the end. So yes, if you average those together, you get a 75%, but at the end, as they grew, 100% was there. So let's really be thoughtful of that as we pick what intern would we run it. And what does this mean for standards-based grading? Which continuum would you want your student to grow on? Where would you like their scores to look like at the end to know, can they really do what we're asking them to do? Let's take a moment and look at our grading scale and what that's going to look like. From grades K through 3, we have a proficiency scale of emerging, developing, and proficient. A lot of our students, they're going to start the school year at 1s and 2s. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to send them to school if they started as 3s because they already can meet the standard. If they start in 1s and 2s, they'll go through different parts of their journey of school, starting with emerging and getting to know to do things with assistance, developing that they can do some standards with assistance, but they can also grow in their independence. And then at some point during the school year, they'll be proficient. They'll be able to complete assigned tasks independently and be very confident in their application of the concept and the skill that's aligned with each grade level. If we look at grades 4 through 8 and their proficiency scale, 1 through 3 are the exact same. Again, a lot of our learners will start at 1s and 2s at the beginning of the school year, and as they grow in their knowledge and skill and application, they'll reach that 3. We want all of our students to be at 3 at the end of the school year. That's the goal. 4s are going to be very hard to achieve here at St. Mary Springs Academy. 4, yep, it means advanced. It means students demonstrates understanding of concepts and skills extending beyond the grade level standards. Students can independently complete self-directed studies. They know a lot and have experienced a lot in the standard, and they can perform as such. So again, a 4 will be a rare occurrence. We want, again, all the students to be at proficient. Can they do what they're being asked to do at a very high level and be able to apply that as they go through their learning? That's where our journey concludes here today with our grading scale. As always, if you have questions or thoughts, please feel free to reach out to Melissa Trupti, my assistant principal, or myself, and we'll be happy to discuss standards-based grading more with you. But until next time, feel free to rewatch sessions 1, 2, or 3 if you need to, as we're folding this all together. And we'll be safe, be well, know that I'm praying for you, and look for session 4 coming out sometime in the very near future. Goodbye.